Welcome, uh, people, to another edition of Magic La Croix, brought to you by the Magic La Croix shop. Uh, Hopefully, you are having a great day, a great Sunday. Um, so, guest with me today, I'd like to introduce to the viewers, those of you who are watching, Ms. Bast DeLuna. How you doing, sis?
Greetings and salutations, my brother. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. So, for those who do not know you, please tell us a little bit about yourself. Introduce yourself. Who is Bast
Okay.
DeLuna?
um, I am a intuitive. I am a starseed, if you will. I'm a kitchen witch. I do all those things. I love everything that is magical and mystical. I I'm a reader and intuitive healer. Um, I've been doing this most of my life, just didn't know what it was, how to classify it until, I don't know, maybe 3 years ago. And have been just working on cultivating, and ascending in the sciences ever since.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. So, you said that you have. Oh, I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Um, no
Glad to be
problem.
here.
Thank you. You said that you've done it most of your life, which a lot of people do. When or around what period of time did you come to realize, hey, I'm a witch?
So I never put that name to it before, although I had always delved in like herbs and things like that. So my connotation of witch beforehand, because of Abrahamic religion, was something ominous, something, that you had to be cruel, you had to be dark, you had to be, baneful, basically, in order to be a witch. However, so I'd always stayed away from that connotation, but I had always I'd learned herbs from my father, from my mother and my father. They were always into the herbs and things like that. I'd always put together concoctions for people. So my interest was always healing people from a naturopathic perspective. And I was always into everything that was mystical and magical, total Harry Potter head, all of that stuff. So it just occurred to me, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 years ago. It was just like I saw a meme in passing, and it said, if you do this, that, and the third, and this, and that, and the third, then you're a witch. Now, mind you, with everything, I'd see these memes before and I'm just like, yeah, 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 yeah. But that right there just kind of hit me like a damn hammer on my head, just like, bing, hello. And so that was kind of like a turning point for me. And I was able to pack away those preconceived notions that I had before. And the more that I looked into exactly what it was, witching is simply being an empowered woman who takes care, who believes in everything that's mystical and magical, and utilizes her power and her energy to basically, heal and divine and everything that's in us.
Okay. Very interesting answer. Thank you for being so detailed about that. Now, you said, I'm curious, you named kitchen witch. Can you
Mhm.
explain exactly what you mean? Is that like taking herbs from the kitchen and doing magical stuff with that? Can you go into that?
Well, kitchen witching. Well, so there are and especially in the pagan sense, being there are different types of witches, that have a little bit more um, comfortability in a different sects of the practice. So you can be what is it? You can be like an earth witch. You can be a fire witch. You can be out of doors, more comfortable doing that. You can be more, about like the motions and potions. So I didn't go so far, which is the reason why I'm not so detailed in those, because the only thing that I saw was like kitchen witch. That just kept on coming up for me. And it's a woman who has a lot of comfortability in the kitchen. That's where she does a lot of her magic. A lot of your magic comes when you have like a heightened sense of energy and love for the things that you do. So I love to cook. I love to eat. I love to put things together to heal people. I have a beauty and skincare line, skin and for skin and hair, called Simply Dalish. That culminated in my kitchen. So I noticed that a lot of my power came from being in the kitchen. I would have people come and I would cook for them, and they would literally say, "Wow, you're literally magical in the kitchen." So I kind of embrace that and go on with it. I don't necessarily consider myself just a witch. A lot of people think that term is limiting to your ascension. While I am definitely more than that, it's just something that I'm very comfortable with.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. And much success to you with Simply Delicious.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have checked out the site.
Yeah, I gotta send you a package. I'm sorry, I've not completely forgotten. This has been a little nuts.
Oh, that's whatever. Yeah, I mean, um, that's very interesting. Um, so you don't have an actual path per se that you follow. It's just do what makes you comfortable. You said intuitive. Does that mean does that mean going off your own instinct, or how how would you classify it if you had to give it a name?
So yes, definitely going off your own instinct, which most of us, I'd say all of us as human beings, we are spirits having a human um, experience right now. In being spirits, you do have pretty much all the different gifts that mystical people have, but some people may not be as connected to them. Some people may be fearful, so they have kind of like cut themselves off. But if you notice, as kids are highly intuitive creatures. They're highly evolved until we teach them different. So when it comes to my intuition, it's something that I've always had. It's something that has come down pretty strong in my lineage, in my family. uh, my mother and my grandmother were, both dreamers and highly intuitive. So that's something that I just came to understand about myself, and I came to trust it. Um, that's something that each of us can benefit from, because in trusting our intuition, we learn to align ourselves with our discernment. Our discernment as we walk through this path, either whether you are spiritual or not spiritual, magical or not magical, will serve as your best and foremost line of defense.
I totally agree with that. Totally agree with that. You said that you are a reader. Um, the reader of tarot, of leaves. What are you a reader of?
Tarot and oracle cards. I've been working with my oracle cards. They're angelic realm oracle cards, and they were the first ones that I picked up some years ago, um, when I was just really delving into my mystical side. And of course, everyone, at least most people that I know, they go through different phases of being a light worker and all that fun stuff, love and light, la la la. So I picked up my oracle cards during that time, and I worked with them quite frequently. I didn't pick up tarot until later on, but I also noticed that I would. I would read people more intuitively. I'm more of like an energy reader, meaning and kind of a channeler. So um, my gift, my strongest gift is being a magnet for people coming to me and needing some sort of, guidance or help or counsel. And whether I would be in the store, I would be in the park, I would be, wherever, people would come to me and basically give me you know, uh, their hardships or whatever they may be going through at the time. And I, in turn, would channel whatever they need to hear at that moment and give them exactly what they needed. That's something that I learned about myself early on, that I kind of channel.
Okay. Okay. Love the answer so far.
Thank you.
I
I hope
really
I'm
like the
not
way you
too
answer.
long-winded, because I can talk people into the floor sometimes.
No, 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 no. That is the purpose. That is to get the viewers to get to know who Bast is.
Thank you.
Speaking of viewers, I have a question in the chat room. It says, "What tips can you give for someone just starting out?" You care to answer that?
Yes. So the first thing that you need to do is educate yourself. Educate yourself, educate yourself. Knowledge is our gift that we have, and it's something that a lot of religions, try and steer us away from. If you notice that fear, they put a lot of fear in a lot of exploration into other sects and other, belief systems. I personally am not in the mind frame of converting anyone from any belief system to another. I just have my own, opinions of how they work, because I've spent years learning and educating myself. Education is everything. You read many books. Um, read many books on not only just magical things, but even in the mundane, the sciences will actually give you a lot of clarity into how these things work, so that you can understand that that there is a correlation between um, the real world, of matter, and the mystical world, the spiritual world, metaphysical. So reading is your best bet. If you're enthusiastic about it, that's great. If you're not enthusiastic about it, you need to get that way, because a lot of people go onto YouTube and try and derive a lot of information from other people. But even when it comes to books, it's about gathering a wealth of information and then using your discernment to understand exactly what information applies to you in your walk. That's discernment. And that is something that, again, your first line of defense.
Thank you. Thank you so much for answering that question because I'm a reader. Um, I spend 80% of my time reading, and I always tell people, read. There's some people that I know, some occultists, that
Yes.
they they have had traditions given to them, so they don't get the benefit from that.
Yeah.
But I say that you are your own best store of knowledge, and
Hmm.
reading would help. There's some people who think, "Oh, I got this melanin. I don't gotta read nothing. It's already in me." But I'm like, how you gonna draw it out though? So,
Right. Right.
uh, yeah. So I have over 100 physical books, but I have over 900 PDFs.
Yes.
I read a lot. A lot. Thanks for
You
giving
can't.
that brilliant
Yeah, you
answer.
can't. You absolutely cannot get through this walk successfully, without doing the work yourself. And even when it comes down to, utilize Google. Utilize Google too. Like it, of course, that's going to require reading also, but you've got to. being magical means being autonomous. You are having to think and understand things for yourself. That can be scary for some people, because especially coming from a organized religion, where things are given to you, and you are actually encouraged not to think on your own accord. Um, it's extremely important on this walk to think and discern for yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great answer. Um, we have another question in the chat room. Someone has asked, Ben the bartender, do you find that quote unquote crazy people seem to be attracted to you, like out of nowhere, telling you quote unquote their story?
Well, you gotta um crazy is subjective. That's my take. It's subjective. So I look at crazy people, like what's crazy to me. Yeah, I mean, like I don't necessarily judge people as being crazy for, maybe feeling some kind of way. They could be getting downloads from things. I tend to look at it from a wider perspective, a broader perspective. The thing that I deem crazy is a person who has been presented with a wealth and facts, and they choose to be willfully ignorant. To me,
Right.
that would be crazy.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, but
Laws.
the thing is, it's like, crazy people, or people just like, they act a little unorthodox. Sometimes it's good to listen to them, because you'd never know exactly how they might bless you with something, with a jewel of knowledge you wouldn't have gotten from any place else.
Absolutely. Words of wisdom from Bast, y'all. Um, I just want to go back to something that you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
Tarot deck. You have a favorite deck?
I do. That this deck jumped off of the shelf at me, literally. So I had my oracle cards, and then I started collecting tarot decks. I had like five of them. I had accrued the Rider Waite and Thoth deck, all that. Um, that's all well and fine. But I just couldn't really get myself to align with them. And then I went into bookstore, and the Deviant Moon deck was sitting right there in the midst of other metaphysical books, but they usually didn't. I've been in there before, and they usually didn't have tarot cards. So this was the first time I saw tarot cards, and the Deviant Moon deck was sitting right there, and I gravitated
Are you there still there?
towards it. Me ever since.
Okay. All right. My favorite deck happens to be the Voodoo Tarot deck. Have you heard of that one? The New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. Okay, it seems like I lost it. Uh, let me see. Hold on, y'all, while I try and get her back. What is going on with? She's. I think she's frozen. It's, Peace Cipher Terrestrial. Uh, Shout out to Gold Mine Graves. Peace, brother. Lady Josette Cannon. Glad you like it. Uh, so what I'm doing here is I'm interviewing Bast DeLuna, and I think her feed is actually frozen. So I'm just waiting for her to come back. So any questions y'all have, you can ask me while I try to get back Bast DeLuna. Bear with me. Sorry about that, y'all. Um, I appreciate that. um, Funny that I just upgraded my bandwidth, so something like this should never happen, but we shall see. So, yes, Bast DeLuna is the sister is she is on it, as y'all can tell. So this interview we've been trying to do for over a week now, but time clashes and everything. So let's see what's going on here. Any questions? Ask me, um, just so that we won't have any dead air here. Uh, Magical questions, I'm like Bobby Hemming. Give me some questions, right? So we shall see. Hope y'all having a fantastic Sunday. Sunday's the day of the sun. Sol, Sol. It's the Roman name of the sun god. Sol is a great day to shine, to use the sun for money rituals, prosperity. Those who are in my magic group, check out the Book of the Old Ones. That's a great book. Uh, Everything that I have.
Dang it.
There she is.
Yes, I swear. Come on, retrograde. Come on, retrograde. I know. That is all right. Listen, I am all right. You are not going to steal my shine, retrograde.
Hey, I was waiting patiently. I knew you was going to come
Thank
back.
you, thank you. Yes, daggone it.
So, let's pick up where we left off. What I was saying while you were our intermission is that this is my favorite deck here. Oh, it's upside down. The New Orleans.
Oh my God! I've got that. That's been calling my name, but I haven't. I was a punk before, but I think I can get into it now.
This is the most, what I can say is the most spirit-driven deck that I own.
Really?
I own the thought that, of course, I think every practitioner should have that.
Exactly.
But someone in the chat room was asking the question that says, how do you, okay, Gemma Stone says, how do you connect with your tarot deck?
Walking around with it, carrying it with you. I keep my tarot deck. Oh, it's all linty right now, but I keep my tarot deck in like a little velvet pouch. Yes, like right. Absolutely. Like yeah. Yes, I keep that. I take it with me. This is the Deviant Moon. Can you see it?
Oh, look at that. Yeah,
I love it. It is so. It's so funky and so just artsy and dark, but it's fly. Like I love it. So yeah, keeping it with you every time, pulling a card every day. I got a really good tip from Lady Duchess to put them in your to pull a card and then put them like close to your skin in your bra or underwear or whatever, and just keep it close to your skin and walk around with it all day. And you can even sleep with your deck underneath your pillow, which I used to do quite a bit too. But I keep my deck with me every day, all day, and I just noticed that it's very, very connected to me. When you're getting ready to use it for other people, make sure that you, like, I kind of knock on it, not just shuffle it, but I knock on it to kind of clear whatever residual energies is there so that you can start clean for the person that you're reading.
Okay. And with the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot deck, I did like 3 rituals with it.
Yeah. That's the thing.
I
I haven't gotten the rituals yet.
Yeah, the ritual. Well, one of them is in the back of the book, and I
Okay.
have breakfast with it. I know that sounds weird, but I have
No, it
breakfast with
isn't.
it. Huh?
It isn't. Not at all.
Right. I had breakfast with it. Then I buried the breakfast in my backyard. Um, y'all can take Bast suggestions also. Those are some great suggestions. I know some people who actually sleep with it.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, and this is the thought that I'm shuffling right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, those are some great suggestions, and you know what you connect with the deck when answers come real quick when
Yeah.
you're reading for someone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I hope that answers your question. Okay, now, how about hoodoo? What do you think of hoodoo?
I love hoodoo.
Okay.
That is my first. I'd say that was when once I got into the actual walk. Like a lot of people go into like paganism and Wicca and whatever. Well, that wasn't for me. I went straight into hoodoo because it was part of the diaspora and Southern conjure. So I've got a lot of Southern sensibilities because my family comes from um, Chicago by way of Mississippi. So a lot of it's funny that a lot of the things that had been ingrained in me, things that you do that were just like folk and almost superstition, was a part of hoodoo. I just didn't know, you know.
Right.
So Southern Conjure. So that is near and dear to my heart. That's something that I recognized as, it was the way that Southern Conjure was a way of us taking care of each other during our oppression and our slavery days. This is the way that we got through it. Got each other and ourselves through it. So that's kind of my way of showing reverence to the ancestors by continuing the practices.
Okay. Okay. Um, would you say someone starting out would it be in their best interest to start there as opposed to Wicca? How would you answer that?
Mm, I think that it is totally subject to the person themselves and their discernment and what they feel is right for them. Because where Wicca did not speak to me at all, um, someone could totally, align themselves with Wicca. And realistically, when you are on this path, like I'm an eclectic. I I'm eclectic. I can't necessarily subscribe myself as being one thing or another, because I think that there are no one truths in this world. There are many truths and many in the belief systems, and that we have to, derive for ourselves. So I think that it would be limiting for you to just, commit yourself to just one stringent thing and that's all, and then forsake anything else, because there's so much knowledge to be gotten. And again, it goes right back to knowledge is your friend. Knowledge is what is going to serve you.
Right. And great answers. I love your answers.
Thank
You
you.
touched on something that I'm always telling people is to be a sponge. Soak up all this knowledge because ultimately and objectively, it all does belong to melanated people. It's come from all over the diaspora. It's
Indeed.
yours. Embrace it,
Indeed.
and you know, get started on it. Yeah. Me personally, I know so many paths. I know so many magical systems that, uh, but it took me a long time to learn them all. So that's my path. But
Hmm.
we live in a society where it's a microwave society. People don't want to take all that time to learn.
Right.
But people fail to realize that, even people who read the Bible and the Christians, that it took 40 years to graduate from the Egyptian mysteries.
Right.
40 years. So, you know, you got all these Facebook magicians who
Hmm.
took 4 months, 4 or 5 months, and bam.
And start doing work for people. That
Right.
is like
Right.
that like it just it makes me cringe because I'm just like how
Right. Right. I
you
said it
don't
on my.
understand how this works. It takes a minute.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is it's about patience. You are not supposed to, now some things will come to you right off the bat. Some things that were waiting for you right on the precipice for you to kind of realign yourselves with your walk or whatever, because honestly, I feel that us being spirits having a human experience, um, we have left a plethora of knowledge in the Akashic field. Now, please excuse me if I'm starting to get a little, to the
Hey,
left or
go
whatever.
for
I'm
it.
a little
Go
crazy,
for it.
but
Go.
we store we leave storehouses of knowledge in the what they call the Akashic fields, which is a gathering, a storehouse of information. Each one of us bring to the Akashic field, divine information and knowledge that we have accrued from lifetimes of experiences. So when we come back here, it's of our choosing. We're choosing to have another experience. But when we come back here, this place right here, because it's such a lower vibration, we go under a veil. We are underneath a veil. Our sight becomes very limited. Our senses become a little on the limited side, and as you get older, they start to close more and more unless you are actively engaging them to keep them open. Also, the reason why it is so important for us to align ourselves with ancestors and deities and whoever is on our spiritual family, serving our highest purpose, is because they have more. They are in the other realm. They don't have this veil, so they can help us to see more of a perspective. So,
Right.
with that said, okay, original point. The,
That's cool. Take your
the
time. Take your
original
time.
point was when you are tapping into that knowledge, you're basically just relearning what you already know. So it takes time. We are on this planet for a specific amount of time. We don't ever know how long we actually have. But while we are here, it is our gift and our right to tap in and relearn and what they call remember. Remember what is remembering? Getting back together, reconnecting. So remembering what was ours all along and bringing it back to the forefront so that we can employ engage and then ourselves to have like whatever life that we choose to have on here. That's the reason why we are creators, we are manifestors. That's the reason why we are and that's another thing too, as far as like the paradigms of dark and light. So it's we are dark and we are light. To leave yourself and go from one thing, go for one thing or another without engaging both, without recognizing and loving both, is would do yourself a disservice and would keep you unbalanced. And that's the reason why there's a lot of toxicity going on in the world, because people don't know their balance and are not recognizing their balance. Even the light workers who are, oh, love and light and this and that and the third, and when it comes down to engaging in real issues that have darkness, that require darkness, you're either going to smooth it over because you are so afraid of, what engaging in darkness is going to bring out. Engaging in darkness is simply being accountable for anything that, or it's just accountability, because us being autonomous, autonomy comes with accountability. A lot of people don't necessarily want to take part in that, which is the reason why you see a lot of toxicity going on with a lack of accountability. It's everybody else's fault.
And I believe the audience who are watching loving your answers just as much as I am.
Oh, cool.
Great
Thank
answer.
you.
Someone, Cypher, asked, do either one of us have an I Ching deck? The I Ching is actually is a book.
Hmm.
Uh,
With a
is
coin.
with the coins, right? They
Hmm.
I forgot what kind of coins they're called.
Yeah,
That is another
Chinese.
divination system that is, if you want an on point answer,
Hmm.
go to the I Ching. So to answer that question, yes, I do have I Ching, and I
I have
do
one
use it
too.
sometimes. You do have one?
I have one, but I have not. It didn't align with me, at the time. So I just kind of put it to the side. But yeah, I do have one, and
Oh,
like I said, it just depends on what resonates with you.
right, right. Okay. So to my next question, do you prefer ritual, like preparing for ritual, or on the spot magic, like I like to call it?
um. So being that the way that I'm set up, it took me it took me a minute to like really get
Right,
into like ritual and like actually the preparation and this and that, only because I'm such a spontaneous kind of person. I am a very like by nature, I'm very spontaneous. So I can, definitely work. And the thing about it is when it comes to rituals mostly for us, but it doesn't necessarily denote your magic to be any weaker or stronger if we don't go through the ritual. That's
right,
just like utilizing candle magic, which I love candle magic and I employ that regularly. But it's just a focus it's a means of a focus to get your intention aligned with the universe so that everything is on one accord. But that's not necessary for everyone, and not everybody needs to engage in it, but ritual is definitely good, I guess, just to keep you aligned with universe and spirits, and just, get you in touch and communing with your folks.
right. I myself am a ritual person, just because I'm a Virgo and I like everything prepared. Uh,
Hmm.
I'm real. You know how they say Virgos are analytical? Yeah,
Yes.
we
Most
are really
definitely.
analytical. So I like it, but I can do on the spot if I have to, which is
Hmm.
why I always keep my mantra or mala beads with me.
Yes.
So I keep crystals in my pockets, and I got so much memorized that I can do on the spot if it's an emergency.
Hmm.
But I prefer ritual. That's just so whatever works for you, right?
Yeah, ritual is really good though. It's just and honestly, like I feel more prone to doing ritual for like the moon phases, because I've always been aligned and shown reverence to the moon. I've always been in love with the moon, basically. So once I started learning about the rituals, I primarily do ritual for moon magic, also for prosperity. We gotta
Right.
always keep that going. So I've definitely gotten into ritual a whole lot more than I did, but it was a process for me to kind of align with that.
Okay. Okay. And on a different note, how did you come across? How did you pick your name?
Man, so I was first I was totally like, okay, I'm not a bandwagger, the band. wagon jumper. That's a, yeah. So I don't necessarily jump on bandwagons. People, there's like a gazillion Oshun's or a gazillion,
Yes,
and which
yes.
is nothing. It's not bad. It's like if you're aligned with them, you're aligned with them. But I'm extremely whenever I get into something, it is a process for me to get into. And this is including practicing magic. Like I wasn't just, oh, I'm a, practitioner. Now I can do work for, I didn't do any of that. It took me a long time to begin that. But so when it came to my name, I first Bast was my first deity that I saw the correlation, and she had been walking with me my entire life. I always had cat energy. I was always been accused of being a cat, accused of
I can see that.
called
I can see that.
kitten, all that fun stuff. So I recognized that her energy walked with me. So I always wanted to use something that would show reverence to her. Um, and then of course the moon. And like I said, my so it just I just asked. I asked for, okay, if I'm supposed to have an alternate name, what would it be? Please talk to me. And spirit definitely laid it on the table for me, just put it out. And I lived with it for, I don't know, like 2 weeks, until they were just like, excuse me, what are you waiting on? Like, what the hell?
Right.
So and that's another thing too, is like when spirit starts talking to you, it's very important for you to listen. And it's okay for you to kind of sit with it, just to see if it's real, if it's, like using your discernment. But once you've understood that this is spirit actually communing with you, get on that shit, because they're going to
Right.
make it very, very uncomfortable for you after a while. And it did for
Exactly.
me. And then what was really important is that I still, I'm still, I guess, transitioning. I still have two sets of people. Now on my Donnie Floyd page, you'll never see me, doing the church thing ever. But I still have my family on there who are, so I just, try and tone mine down. So my posts are more political than anything. But on my Bast DeLuna page, I can go ham. I can go hot ass mess with the, magic all day
Right.
long. And that just satiates my spirit. So I'm extremely happy that I listened. But they gave it to me. That's to answer your question. Spirit gave it to me. I graciously took it, and I've been all the better for it ever since.
Yeah, definitely. I remember one day the spirits was trying to give me a lesson, and I can't remember exactly what it was because it was like 10 years ago. But I kept getting shocked by everything I was touching
Mm,
until I actually later in the day, it's like, oh wait, and came to realize that the spirits was talking to me. I
hmm.
kept getting shocked with every damn thing that I touched, and wasn't even just metal. I was just getting shocked. So
Wow.
I got tired of that shit and got on the shit that they was talking about. So yeah, yeah, you definitely have to pay attention.
Yeah, they have ways
Uh,
of getting your attention, man. You better pay it. I'm telling you. Crazy.
yeah. Okay, and which background do you come from? I know we're kind of running out of time, but which do you come from a religious background, or what kind of background do you come
I would say that my background would be, like, my familial background would definitely be Baptist. However, my both of my parents seem to be a little bit on the spiritual side. They really weren't drawn to church that way. So I'm familiar. I'm familiar with both, sects of thinking, of belief systems, with the, with Baptists, and then on the spiritual, where my dad used to sit there and just talk about, like, science, and talk about Jesus in a different way, more so that he was a part of us and not some outside entity.
Right.
So it's funny how people, when they go on this walk, they totally denounce Jesus and Christ and all of that and Sky Daddy and whatnot. I don't necessarily do that. I believe that Christ consciousness is real. It's just the story that was put to us is, a fallacy, and it's been adjusted, to suit the other's needs. But the consciousness itself, I absolutely believe in. And he may not be one of my deities, but it's someone that I honor, not honor, but just I respect. um but I did try during my teen years church a lot. I tried a lot of church. Shit never stuck.
Same here.
Never
Same.
stuck.
Okay. You got time for one more question?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, someone in the chat room, um, Gemma Stone
Mm-hmm.
asks, "Can you recommend ways to connect to spirit? I feel like I am disconnected, and I am looking for ways to connect. Thanks again."
So that's something that even I, sometimes I feel like, I'm like doing too much and I'm not hearing. But one thing that I've gotten to the understanding, and it's been confirmed many times by many of my other spiritual peers, is that spirit is always with you. So you're never disconnected with them, but it's about you just taking time for yourself and just slowing it down so that you can commune with them, because they're always there,
Right.
even when you're not feeling very connected. Doing things like maybe sitting down, and it just depends on what resonates with you. Either grounding yourself in the dirt, like going outside and putting your feet into the ground. It charges you. It's a recharger. What works for me, sometimes the ground does it, the earth doesn't do it so much for me as the water does. I'm a water sign all the way. I'm a Cancer. And so getting into a bath with some salt, because salt is like cleansing. You can put some Florida water in there, it's a very simple way of getting in there. And water is a conduit. It's a connector to different energies. So when you're submerged in the water, you can sometimes it can amplify your connection. So, and you can, hear a little bit better. It's just different ways of connecting. um I would specifically for yourself, so that you can slow down, because it's not about them not being there. It's simply about you slowing your mind down to receive.
Great answer as usual, and welcome to the group. Also, be sure to
Yay, thank you.
be sure to check the file section out. There's a lot of good material. And I was wondering, would you do me the honor of coming back sometime? I've enjoyed this conversation.
I'm sorry, you can you repeat that, because you froze.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You
I
were
said
wondering.
I was wondering if you would do me the honor of coming and doing this again with me sometime, because I really enjoyed this conversation.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me to do so. I was like completely over the moon, and even though we had all kinds of hiccups going on, I was still, turning cartwheels in my mind. I can't do a cartwheel for damn in person, but in my mind, I was doing all the cartwheels. And so, yeah, no, as you can see, I'm a talker. I love to engage in these discussions. It definitely satiates. So, and if anybody has any questions, or want to consult with me further, you can reach me on you can inbox DeLuna, BAST, DeLuna, DELUNA, on Facebook. My email is bast.deluna@gmail.com. And I'm working on my own webpage for like reading and things like that. So it's on there. You can like and subscribe if you'd like to. I also have YouTube, which is super new, but you know. So you can like and subscribe to that, and I'll be getting that together. I don't know, in the coming month. But meantime, in between time, just inbox me for a reading or whatever.
Okay. Thanks again, sister, for doing this interview with me. We got to do it again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have your information on this particular feed so that when people want to inbox you, find you on Facebook or your website when it's finished, they
Hmm.
can have that for you. So
Thank
again,
you.
you're welcome, and thank you for coming. Thank you, lookers,
Yes.
for joining us. This
Thank
is
you very
Bast
much.
DeLuna. You're very welcome, and I hope that y'all have a good rest of your Sunday and a good week to follow. This is Magick La Croix. I'm signing out, and thanks again, Bast DeLuna.
Thank you, Magic.